In this class, we're going to look at how to add audio and manage audio within Vedio Live. So to add audio, you can search for audio from anywhere, maybe royalty-free audio. Sometimes you can get them from, you come to Pixabay. Sometimes you can get a lot of royalty-free audios. So for example, you come over here and you can search for music directly. And you can just search for music and maybe probably come over here and put in background music. These are royalty-free audio tracks that you can download and use according to your content. If you are interested in sound effects also, you can search for it and you can see a lot of them, Daylight, Joker Boy and so on. A lot of sound effects you can find here. All you need is just to come over here and click on download, and you can download it free of charge. You can play to have a preview of that particular effect. Yeah, so you can just be specific about what you are looking for. Alternatively, you can go to YouTube library. Also, it's available and it's free of charge for royalty free. So I have imported one from the beginning when we imported our audio. When we started importing our media, I imported this background music. So all you need is just to select and define the length of the audio you want. For example, you can use the in and out point. Maybe we can define this at the in point, and then we can select and move maybe to this point and define this as the out point. Okay, so you can drag and drop this into the timeline. So you can see it starts from the beginning. These ones are not really audios because they are plain. Yeah, they don't have any audio. So we can just select on group and remove them directly. So select and delete selected items the same way here on group, and then we can select and delete selected item. So we can just move this to the beginning. All right, so we can see it. If we don't want this background or this track, we can just easily delete it. Okay, so you can say okay to this, and we've deleted it. So we now have our audio inserted beneath all our footage that we're working with. So as usual, we have to end it at this point. So we can use the razor tool. We can use the razor tool over here, and we can just click to create a cut, and then we're back to the selection tool. We can select this, right click and say delete selected item, and then we have our audio now already in the background. So you can play. Yeah, I think this kind of looks good, but then we have to kind of create something like a fade in into the audio. So you can navigate as usual to the top left. So you can see this circle. You can just click on it, and you can see it just created the fade in into the background. Okay, so you can just adjust by selecting and dragging. You can see you are adjusting the inflow up to the point that you want the whole music to go loud, or you can manually do it over here. From here, you can see you can adjust like we've explained earlier on. Okay, I think I like the manual adjustment. Sometimes I think it's okay at this point. And you can create an out point, a fade out also from here. Just click, move to the top right. You can see this red circle. You can just click on it and it created the fade out. Again, you can manually adjust, or you can adjust using this. Right now in the effects and composition stack, you can see you have to fade in and fade out, which you can manually adjust on your own. Now, the volume, if you play, what this means is if you play from the beginning, you see it start from 0 and then it gains the volume up to the highest. All right, so but if you notice the volume is too high, so you have to use an effect called volume over here. So you can just go ahead, type volume, and you can see it over here. It's keyframeable, so you can just drag and drop it into the audio. And you can see the volume control over here. Now, it is keyframeable, which means that if at some point I want to increase the level of the audio, right now it is at the global scale. You can just reduce or increase at the global. So you can see now if I reduce, it is reducing everything in there. If I increase also, it is increasing everything, the entire volume. Okay. So if you want to make it keyframeable, in that at some point you want to have higher audio and some point you want to have a lower audio. Like for example, let's try to make something meaningful. Let's insert a track below instead of so under. It's just going to be an audio track. So just an audio track. I will say okay to this. All right, so volumes are generally keyframeable. So in that, if you want to increase some certain section of the audio clip, you can increase some certain section in terms of volume, and you can reduce some certain sections in terms of volume as well. So assuming at this point, I want to create a keyframe on this, my audio, the background music, I can just come over here and we can just create a keyframe, adding keyframe, and then probably we can shift a little bit and add another keyframe. Okay, so from this point, I want the sound to go down. Okay, so let's say I want it to go down. Let's go back to the previous keyframe, this one. And then I want my sound to go down a little bit, so it goes down like this to this point probably. And then I want it to remain at this volume for this much long up to this point, so I add another keyframe, and from this point add another point, and I add another keyframe, and then from this point I want it to go up, okay, back to normal. So you can see it created this small sag, okay, where there's going to be less volume. You can see it just dies out, and then maybe I can have another sound effect. For example, I can come over here, let's go back to the bin, and let's say this one, there's a volume in it. Okay, let's say this one, there's a sound effect in it. So let's say we want some section of it from this point. Let's say this is an in point, and then we move inside, let's say at this point, and let me catch like 2 or 3 of these sound effects, and then I create an out point. So you can drag this and drop here. Okay, so let's zoom this out. All right, so what I want is I want to use this sound effect from this. So let me kind of ungroup this and then delete this section. All right, so we can use the sound effect of this guy at this moment where we silence or where we lower the volume, so we can kind of hear the sound effect. Yeah, if you like, you can still increase the volume so you can still hear it, but the main idea is to lower the volume at this point, hear the sound effects. Yeah, so if you like, you can still select and still come back here and still try to see. Let's go to the next keyframe, and then we can raise the volume a little bit. Okay, raise it a little bit so we can still hear. Go to the previous keyframe and then raise it a little bit also, so we have a flat volume increase, so something like this. So let's hear it one more time. There will be the sound effect and then the background music. Yeah, I think you get the message. We have the background music and we still have the sound effects going on, because sound effects are very, very efficient when it comes to working with volume, so it's creating professional looking videos. Okay, so this is about volume. You can add anything. You can play around with the sound effects. You can play around with the different you can add keyframes, and you can play around with them as you so wish. Okay, so I think this does it on this tutorial on how to add background music or how to add sounds in general and manage them within Kdenlive. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next class. Bye.